Hi everyone! In this video we will factor trinomials with the greatest common factor. Factor 2b cubed plus 52b squared plus 50b. The very first thing we want to check whenever we're factoring is find if all of the terms have a greatest common factor. The reason we do that is it gives us smaller numbers and terms to have to deal with. So we always look for what can we factor out of everything to make it smaller. In this case, I see every single term has a b in common, and I can see they're all even. So I can factor out the greatest common factor here is 2 and b. So if I take a 2 and a b out of all of these, 2b cubed divided by 2b leaves us with just b squared. And then 52 divided by 2, positive divided by positive is positive, and 52 divided by 2 is 26. B squared divided by b leaves 1b behind, and the last one, 50 divided by 2 is 25, and factoring out the b, there's no more b left. So now we've factored out the greatest common factor. Now we need to continue factoring the trinomial. Now that this trinomial is in the form of a equals 1, because we've taken out the greatest common factor, we only need to look at c and find all the factors of c, 25, starting with the numbers 1 and itself. It's not even, and 3 won't go into it, neither will 4, but 5 will. 5 times 5 is 25, and once we get to a duplicate number, we're done because we would just start going up the other side. So we're finished. Now we're going to look at the sign of the last term. It's positive, and this tells me that the signs will be the same. And then we look at the middle term, and it's a positive sign, so this tells us that the same signs will both be positive. So now that we know that, we can fill in our factors, knowing that the signs will be the same, and because the first one is positive, the signs will both be positive. So we will fill in over here with all positives, and now we're going to find a combination of these, of the factors, that will give us the number 26. So let's go look for a combination. Positive 1 plus 25 gives us a positive 26. So we found our combination, positive 1 and positive 25, to replace our 26. So we'll have 2b on the outside, b squared, and replace our 26b with positive 1b and 25b. So I'm going to go in the order that we were given, plus 1b, plus 25b. You don't have to go in that order if you don't want to. And then we'll finish with our last term of 25. This 2b has already been factored, so we don't need to factor it again, and it's just going to stay on the outside. So we're just going to factor this middle part by grouping the first two and the second two terms, and we're going to look for the greatest common factor of each of those terms. So b squared plus b has a greatest common factor of b. So we're going to hang out the 2b out here, keep it out front, and we're going to give it a bracket here just so that we can see that it's going to stay outside. And we have our b on the outside, and we factored it out, so we have one more b left there, and 1b divided by b is just 1, so we'll leave it there. Now we'll look at the next two. 25b plus 25 has a greatest common factor of positive 25. That leaves behind b, and 25 divided by 25 is 1, so plus 1. And I'm going to give myself a bracket here because that 2b on the outside came from every single term on the inside. So we're saying that it's still on the outside of all of our terms on the inside. Now we're going to factor by grouping, again, finding the greatest common factor of these two larger terms here and here. And we can see that b plus 1 is our greatest common factor, the binomial. So we're going to factor out b plus 1, which leaves us with b plus 25. We could continue putting on the brackets, or we can just put the 2b out here since both of our terms are also in parentheses, so we know that it's being multiplied to both of them. And so now we have completely factored our trinomial with a greatest common factor. And now we're all done.